Greg Phillips at Bluesfest 2019, and I'm thrilled to be here with Samantha Fish. Samantha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. This is your first trip to Australia, first Bluesfest?
My first trip to Australia to this Bluesfest, and I'm over the moon. Yeah.
Have you managed to catch any music yourself or meet anyone else?
Yeah, not much. Last night was kind of a late night for us. We did the later show. Today we're going to get to hang out and catch some of the other acts. I plan on seeing quite a bit if I can, so yeah.
Do you like festivals like this where you do get to mix with other bands?
Absolutely. I love it when, you get some time to, just kind of relax. So often, on tour, you just are going from one place to the next, and you don't really get much time. These festivals that are kind of done over a few days, where you do several shows, you get to, meet, you see your friends again, like these bands that you've known for years of touring but never really get to interact with. It's a good opportunity for collaborations and just relaxing a little bit. It's nice to just catch my breath and stay in one hotel room for a few days. Yeah.
Just wanted to go way back for a little while. What was the spark that made you want to pick up the guitar and play in bands in the first place?
Guitar is so cool, right? It's just cool. I wanted to be cool. And honestly, it was like I grew up listening to rock and roll, and I loved the Rolling Stones and Tom Petty and AC/DC, and I wanted to be like Mike Campbell and Angus Young. I wanted to be like a rock star. It was fun, and then I started figuring out where they learned, what those guys learned from, and it was like it all kind of came back to blues for me, and it was like everything that we, all modern music was so, really came from that, and I really fell in love with a lot of that kind of style, and it just kind of grew out from there.
What was your first guitar?
Oh God, I don't even remember anymore. I had this, don't laugh, it was a pink Stratocaster, but it was nice. My dad's friend built it for me. But that was cool, and then I ended up coming upon like a Les Paul, and I played that out and about on stages. But I had an acoustic guitar, I just had a couple ones that you have to really, the beater guitars, you have to figure out how to play on them, and they're not the easiest ones to play. But if you can master that or get somewhere close, then maybe you've earned like a nice guitar.
The Kansas City music scene, when you were starting out, I think you were 15 when you were in your first band. What was the scene like?
Ooh, a little later than that, actually. Maybe, I think I put my band together maybe around 18 or 19. There was a lot of like open mics and stuff, and there was a strong tradition of blues in Kansas City, so a lot of blues bands around. They were hosting weekly jams and stuff, and so I kind of went out and, that's where you'd work on your chops and like go and write a song, sit in, or go to an open mic and play an acoustic, solo thing. That was cool. Like, Kansas City was very supportive, and I saw that as I got older, another younger generation coming up, and the same players being supportive just to young musicians wanting to, start bands, and it really helped me, because when I actually put the band together, and that was, I'd already kind of started developing like a bit of a name just from going and sitting in and associating with other acts and stuff, and it was it helped me when I was getting gigs and started putting the touring band together. It took years. It was a lot of just like one foot in front of the other kind of movement, but that's just what you have to do. Yeah.
A hell of a lot has happened since.
Yes.
Fast forward to 2017, you released 2 albums, Chills and Fever and Belle of the West. Why 2 albums in the 1 year?
Because it wouldn't have worked unless they were so completely different. Chills and Fever was like a Detroit rock and roll soul venture with horns, and they were all covers from the 60s and 50s and 60s kind of obscure classics. Belle of the West was, I wrote the songs. We went to Mississippi to record. It was kind of like North Mississippi meets Nashville Americana, and we did it in like an acoustic styling. But we'd recorded Belle of the West, and when it came time to put it out, it was like my team, my manager and record label was like, we really wanted to put something a little higher octane out. And so that's when Chills and Fever came about. We'd met this great producer named Bobby Harlow, and just sort of put together this vision, and Belle of the West ended up kind of sitting on the back burner, and I felt like it was such a great record and it'd be a shame to just not do anything with it. So we said, to hell with it, put it out. We'll do 2 in a year, and, if people don't understand, then they don't understand, but luckily it worked. It was kind of a crazy thing, but the record industry has changed so much, kind of the rules and cycles that people normally put albums out on. I mean, people are hungrier now. I think with social media, it's like you kind of have to constantly feed folks.
Yeah.
That's why singles are so popular nowadays, I don't think it was too much to put it out. I don't think it overwhelmed anybody.
So, Belle of the West, from what I've read, you concentrated more on the songs than the licks. Is that the way forward for you now?
I think everything should be about the song, whatever serves the song. And if what the song calls for is a ripping guitar solo, then give it to them. But if it doesn't, then you got a diverse album. And I just, my philosophy on that is to serve the song and just do what the song calls for, and I'm not writing songs spitefully, not putting guitar solos on them or anything. We have some rippers on the new record coming out this summer, so it's just, you just got to kind of follow the vibe of what it calls for.
Yeah, and certainly in your live show, the licks are still there too.
Yeah, well, the live show's a little different than an album. We have a little more time to kill and people to entertain.
Yeah.
So
Tell me about stage rig that you bought out here.
It's my international rig is a little bit more limited. I'm using Fender Super, which that's my go-to on festivals. If I can't have my Category 5s, which I use in the States, I like to use Fender Super. They're pretty standard rock and roll killer. My pedal board, I strip it back a little bit for the international shows, but I'm not actually missing anything. I just took all the broken pedals off. Fuzz, gain booster, delays, pogs, octaves, volume stuff. My guitars I dig. I bring my SG, my Jaguar, Delaney 335 style S guitar, and of course my cigar box guitar. 'Cause that's.
Have you been playing SG for a while?
Yeah, a few years. Like I said, when I was a kid, Angus Young was a hero of mine, and when we put Chills and Fever out, I kind of wanted to revamp my style, and that meant, buying more guitars. So I went out and got an SG, and it's become one of my faves.
So where are you at with recording now?
It's done. It's in the can. Actually, Rounder Records signed me last year, and they are putting out my new album, which comes out in the summertime. I think August 2019 is what we're looking at.
And what can you tell us about it?
It's awesome.
Naturally.
I'm going to say that for the next 6 months until I hate it completely, and I'm like, it sucks. No, that's how it always goes. Actually, I've listened to it way too many times, so I already hate it. That's the problem, is by the time it comes out. No, all right, I'll get serious. I feel like the songs are, really melodic. There's some great hooks. It's kind of like an evolution of the last 2 records. Keeping kind of in line with what we did, but evolving it a step further, making it modern. It's definitely got some contemporary edges to it. There's some stuff that's like pretty raw and rugged, but then we've got some beautiful, like almost Memphis sounding horns on some parts of the album. I definitely say there's a lot of soul, there's a lot of rock and roll, tinge of Americana in there, but overall it's me singing and playing my ass off. So.
Do you find that your songs grow and develop as you play them?
Absolutely, yeah. In the studio, it's like you're kind of, you've got a set amount of time that you can really do this. And this was the longest I've ever taken to do a record. On this previous one, it's coming out this year. But a lot of times, you're in a room with the core band, and it's like you kind of rock it out, and by the 3rd or 4th take, the energy is right. If it even takes that many takes, and so by the live show, the band is fleshing these songs out every night. Things do change, and they evolve and expand, and I think get cooler. I really do.
Yeah. So what's on for the rest of 2019?
Just touring. This album's coming out this year, so putting out putting that out and supporting it. I mean, we're finishing here in Australia. We're going playing in the U.S. for a week and a half, like Jazz Fest stuff, and then we're going to Europe for a month. It's a lot around the world.
And when do we see you back in Australia again?
I hope next year for Bluesfest. I don't know how that works, but I'm putting my I'm begging already.
Samantha Fish, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.